We're going to do it for real this time, Walter.
All right.
Beautiful. Well, let's rock and roll then. Hello, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Podcast. I am your host. John Harris. And today on the Rock and Roll Podcast, we have Frontside. They've got a new EP slated for early next year called Closer to Closure. And right now I'm being joined by Walter to share some more information about what Frontside has been up to, releasing some banging new singles and what they've got coming up. So this EP as well as some other news. So Walter, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Great to have you on. Now, I guess take us through this year so far, because at this point when we're recording, the year's almost over. And I'm kind of curious, were you guys planning to work this year this way, or have things happened and you guys had to rework the plan?
Well, we've definitely reworked the plan. When towards the beginning of the year, COVID wasn't a thing, or it was, a thing not in the States. And we were just going to be releasing the EP and that was kind of going to be it, and, keep playing shows, business as usual. But a couple things came up, the pandemic, obviously. We began talking with Revival Recordings, the label that we're on currently. And we basically delayed the release of that, delayed, any shows. The last show we played was in March, right before everything hit. And we've kind of just been rolling with the punches. A fair amount has definitely changed.
Okay. Now, there is some exciting news in there. For example, signing with Revival Recordings, which is how I found out about you guys.
Absolutely.
Take us through that. So you guys had the EP ready to go, submitted it to labels, I'm guessing, and Revival responded back with a yay, and then starts the thing bands don't expect, which is they have to put their recording on hold for like a year.
Well, we recorded the EP a while ago, but it just, it took a while. We were on a different label before this one, and we talked with them. It was We Are Triumphant. I was talking with them, and it basically came around to him saying, well, I'm not going to help you release it. And we were just, at that point, I was just like, I don't even know if I want to deal with another label or anything. Like, let's just put this out. And we ended up putting a single out, and Revival saw that and saw us. I mean, we've worked with them locally with shows and other things of that nature, and they just they hit us up. They were like, hey, we like the single. We'd like to help you release the EP and work with you guys, and that was very exciting. So yeah, we actually already had the single released, but they were like, we can do better, and we were like, all right, well, sounds good to me. Sounds good to us.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing, because we always heard about the souring record contract situation, and how do you get into the next one? I guess it was just how Revival approached it with you guys.
Yeah, well, but they are super genuine people. There's a team. They seem to have a plan. It's not just one person that is making all these decisions. They talk with you, and they actually like when you ask them questions, and there's a lot. It's a lot better of an environment, and none of the contracts we've been in have been some just we've never ruined our lives or anything over one. So it's not about that, but it's definitely it was definitely a good option that they presented to us. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Couldn't give that one up.
Hey, got him.
Pow. You mentioned the last show was in March. Did you guys have any plans to do like any touring or anything? And I guess my next question subsequent to that is, are you guys doing anything, I don't know, digitally online, such as live streams, acoustic sets, Q&As, that sort of thing?
It's kind of, like I like being able to do all the other stuff. Like I like, being able to talk about the band and, maybe give behind the scenes stuff. And, we did a music video where, we're in a phase where we're trying to create content that, you don't have to be right with us to experience it. But, it sucks missing the live show. That's a big reason why the three of us really enjoy playing music. And that's kind of the thing you really want to get to. But yeah, we've done what we can to try and, have content or, keep going with the band despite the challenges we have in front of us.
Yeah. Now, Give It Up, is this the single that won you guys the attention from Revival?
Yes. Yeah. And we just released that independently, and it was going okay. It was, reaching some folks, and they were like, we can do a little bit better with it. So yeah, we've released this once before, and so I'm glad it's actually able to still be picking up some traction. People aren't mad that we just released it twice.
Well, and that's kind of an interesting thing because, it's funny how that story happens sometimes where I'm chatting with a band and they're like, well, we just, released this single and a record label wrote us and said, man, that's great. And like, okay, there's 1,000 other bands who've released something and nothing happens. Yeah. So, what's it like to have a song? Did you guys know that this was a banger of a track when you wrote it and released it?
Well, yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. Sizing up the EP, it's just kind of, it's fast paced. It's, it gets around to the chorus, and the chorus is, quick, easy to enjoy, and still plenty riffy. And, it's a fun one for us to play live. So whenever we tracked it out and got it all mixed and we're listening to everything, we were like, this is the single, this is the one we're putting out first. Definitely not to say anything bad about the other songs, but I think it's a good one to lead with. So yeah, I'm glad they were able to. They heard it and were into helping out with it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. When you guys released it originally, did you guys have this stunning basement music video?
No, and that was something that just knowing that we then had a little bit more time. We recorded this at the beginning of, I guess it was, beginning of 2019. So, we've been sitting on it for a while, and by the time we got around to it, we were like, let's just release the thing. All right. But knowing we had a little bit more time, we were able to put the pieces together for that and got that rolling. And yeah, so that was a new thing. And that was something we were able to do, not in lieu of, playing shows, not being able to play shows.
Yeah. Now, one of the next singles that's going to be coming up here shortly, I've got a note here, is Einstein Killed Me. So is this about, I don't know, math homework or physics homework?
It's actually not. And it's actually just, we've, the Give It Up used to be called Mr. Buddy. And Einstein Killed Me was called, that was another, it's just an inside joke we had. You could probably still find them on YouTube. It's these old videos called Jokes with Einstein. And we just went on this whole thing about Einstein and it's kind of just a silly inside joke. It has nothing to do with the song.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Want. Now, you mentioned this EP as I heard Tom Petty earlier today. Don't bore us, get to the chorus. You mentioned that the EP doesn't bore us. It gets to the chorus, and it's a smooth, easy ride listening to it. I guess take us through this EP, Closer to Closure. What is this about, Closer to Closure? Is there something that, I don't know, individually somebody in the band was looking to get over, or something that was going on?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say, I named the EP that, and it's nothing specifically that I was talking about. I liked it. I thought it had a ring to it, and just kind of, I'm happy to be recording another album and releasing that, and just kind of knowing that one day I'm not going to be able to do that, or I will, indeed have to, give it up whenever I get older. You know, it's one more part of, you know, what I do and what I've done. And, you know, it's taking me closer to, you know, being able to get some closure and feeling like I, you know, did what I was supposed to do with all of it. So, I mean, it's more about that. And I mean, yeah, sure. You could take it and frame it in the way of like, you know, I'm breaking up with somebody and, you know, we're definitely done. But, you know, it's kind of more of a broad thing than that.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. So far we've chatted about, you know, how things have gone this year, signing to Revival. We've chatted about a couple of tracks, music video. I think the only thing left really is, since you guys wrote this some time ago and there's ostensibly been some downtime this year, what's the plan next? Do you guys have an album in the works or another EP in the works? What should we expect from Frontside?
Well, so something that's been, you know, somewhat difficult and exciting in the same right has been we've actually gotten a new drummer. So he didn't record on the new EP. He was not the drummer on that, but I have a ton of demos that, you know, I've worked through, and I mean they're I would, if I had to give a percentage for it, I mean it'd probably be about, you know, 75 or 80% of the way through with most of the tracks. And yeah, I mean those are, you know, we're probably, if I had it my way, we'd be doing a full length next, but, you know, we'll see if the funding is there. We'll see if, you know, the interest is there. And I mean, it's definitely a decision that has to be based off of, you know, what makes sense when we finally get around to that point. I mean, we still have a lot of work to do for this release, and I mean, there's still plenty that we're planning on doing and things we need to work on for this before we look too far into the future. But yeah, there's definitely more songs in the works, and I mean, it's going to be a bit of a different era for us as a band. So yeah, that's about all I could really say on that, I guess.
Well, something you mentioned there was the new drummer. So, I mean, I guess that'll change the dynamics in some way to the band. So how does that change the dynamics? Where I guess on the backside of Frontside are we going to be?
Got him.
Bam! Are we going to, like, how does that change the dynamics of Frontside?
Well, I mean, I think one of the biggest ones is having a drummer that is as capable as Alex Jolly, who is our current drummer. You know, he's a great rock drummer, which is obviously what we need, but he also has jazz chops. So he's able to just, I mean, it's incredible what he's able to do. I mean, you know, I'll start throwing my fingers around on the fretboard and he can match it to a T, and it's kind of insane. So I think going back and even revisiting some of the songs I've already done is going to be really interesting, and we're going to be able to, you know, create something very interesting musically. And I think that's going not and also not to say we haven't done something interesting, but it's definitely him being a part of that writing process is going to be different. You know, it's going to be, yeah, you got it.
Does he have a mustache, though?
He does. He is an incredible mustache.
Okay, good.
He is the mustache.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, and I mean, when you guys are writing songs, do you draft the drums out, you know, kind of yourself to say, hey, this is kind of what I think I'm going to be doing, and then you hand it off and visit it from there? Or how do you guys actually get together to write a tune?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I started out playing drums before I played guitar, and I mean, then I really went on to bass, and then by default, you know, when I was a kid, I was the one playing guitar in the band. So, I mean, I have, you know, I know how to play these other instruments. So when I'm writing a song now, I'm not really just, you know, focusing on, you know, the vocals and the guitar. I mean, it's really all of it kind of coming together round about the same time. I mean, I'm not playing, most of the time I'm not playing a guitar part if I don't already know, like, you know, how to count it or, you know, what I want the pulse of it to be or whatever. So So yeah, I mean, they'll be pretty fully mapped out, and then it's up for interpretation, and you know, we can definitely twist and bend anything as much as anybody wants to. So yeah, I mean, that's how it comes together. And you know what? Sometimes I'll have something simple, and I'll just be like, I know I want there to be more here. I'll bring it I'll take it down to the basement with the guys, and we'll put it on loop, and kind of just work around it, see what we can make happen.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah. Walter, I believe that concludes my questions. We chatted about a couple of tracks, the EP, coronavirus. I think we even chatted how life is like in North Carolina this afternoon. Is there anything that I missed that you wanted to chat about?
I think that covers a fair amount of what's going on right now. I mean, what's important with the band, I think that about covers it.
All right. Well, Walter, thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.